Holy shit! Donald Trump can't stop getting all the attention, the spotlight. He's amazing. We can't get enough of Donald Trump. I love it though. I love it because he's a loose cannon. You never know what he's gonna say. The I guess the most recent scandal was that piss gate, that urine gate. Somebody actually came up with a real clever, really good name for it, Golden Gate. For those of you who don't know, there was I guess BuzzFeed, who I don't like, not really. I don't know that I've ever read or seen anything that I completely agreed with. For the most part, I think that they're not. To me, the best way I would describe them is they're not in touch with reality. That's what it seems. They are in some fucking fantasy world for the most part. From the all the videos and some of the articles that I've read, just very not, just very out of touch with reality. But anyway, so they released these documents that about something to the God. Maybe I should have made some notes so that I would have some sort of accuracy to what I'm fucking talking about instead of just fucking winging it. Well, anyway, there was a lot of information, a lot of pages. I think it was hundreds of pages of information about Trump and Russian stuff. I'm not even sure. I think something to do with uh, you know what? I'm not even gonna say. The point is that in these documents there was these dossier, as most people were calling it. There was a part where it describes how Donald Trump hired hookers to piss on a bed. And you may be wondering, why the hell would Donald Trump want to hire hookers to piss on a bed? I realize that some people do have a fucking fetish for urine. There is urine porn. I don't know if it's legal or not, but I've seen it, so hopefully I wasn't breaking the law and I just incriminated myself. No, I think that's legal, right? I mean, if two consenting adults want to frolic in urine, I guess that's their fucking call. That's their thing. But anyway, so the reason why Donald Trump did that is because supposedly, allegedly, uh, when Barack Obama visited Russia, he stayed in a hotel with his wife, and Donald Trump found out what that room was. And I guess in Donald Trump fashion, in a very childish manner, he decided that he was going to hire hookers and have them urinate on that bed to get back at Obama. I think I think that's how the story goes, but it, now it's not true. Like none of this has been confirmed, and Donald Trump's rightly so very angry about it that this story came out. Because this story was circulating and nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody wanted to release this information because there is no evidence. There's zero evidence that this is true. And, you know, as much as a sellout as mainstream news is, they're not just going to release fucking this bombshell to the world without any sort of what's it called, any kind of sources, any sort of sources that may back up the story. This is just a claim, just thrown out there that to this day no one knows whether it's true or not. But BuzzFeed, I guess, didn't give a shit. They just fucking released it for the world to see, and and everyone loved it, man. Everyone just couldn't get enough of the story of Trump and his urine fetish, allegedly. And that's where that Golden Gate term came from, because golden refers to golden showers. And if you don't know what a golden shower is, then I don't know. I would say look it up, but you probably don't want to look it up. It's got to do with urine in a sexual manner. But, but it's hilarious, and I guess CNN was talking about it as well. But they were talking about these documents and some of the information that was there, but they didn't release the information itself. They didn't release the documents. They never even hinted to what was in the documents. I think they were just talking about it, and I guess Trump is mixing CNN. in with BuzzFeed, who did actually release this information, which again is not backed up by any sort of evidence. And Trump had his press conference, first one in 2017 as the president elect, and the CNN reporter was asking him questions, and he decided to call them fake news. And I have an issue with that. I Everything is fake news nowadays, and it's become one of these terms that it's used to shut down the conversation, kind of like back when, or the term that was mostly used to shut down a conversation before was conspiracy theory. If you came up with something, if you accused the government of something crazy, the people would just say, "Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory." You know, the if you were critical of the 9/11 official report by the government, you questioned it or you said it was bullshit, people would call you a crazy conspiracy theorist, shutting down the conversation. And I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen with this fake news thing. Anytime anybody hears anything that they don't like or that they disagree with, they're just gonna shut down the conversation and just call it fake news. It's bullshit. Now, Republicans were mad that this information was leaked. They're like, "How dare you? This is all bullshit. How dare the left or the fucking mainstream media releases this sort of information when it's completely bullshit?" So they're mad about it, but they didn't have a fucking issue when Pizzagate was released, which is another bullshit story of how Hillary Clinton and fucking Barack Obama are something to do with molesting children from a fucking pizza store. That they didn't care. I think even Alex Jones, Infowars, was fucking reporting it as factual. It would just shows the hypocrisy, on the right, but in reality, both parties. That's why I think we should do away with parties and get rid of them all. It just brainwashes people. It makes people really blind. And the right shows their hypocrisy by getting angry over Golden Gate, but not Pizzagate, and fucking buying it hook, line, and sinker. This whole Pizzagate bullshit. And that's a different point, I guess. But it and some people are saying, "Oh, Donald Trump's brave, and he's a brave man for calling out CNN for the sellouts that they are." Which I don't deny that mainstream media or mainstream news is, they are sellouts. They you got something like Fox News, which if you've ever watched it, it's one pill commercial after pill commercial after another. So I don't imagine Fox News is ever going to make us or have a story uh, about pharmaceutical companies and hold their feet to the fire and all the how they profit from more or less making people addicted to their shit, and how they're slinging pills with all these side effects, negative side effects, for the sake of making money. They're making money by possibly ruining people's lives with their product. And so Fox News is never going to make a story about the negative impacts of over-the-counter pills and how addictive they are, and how they are more addictive than, and how they are. I think they've become an even bigger problem than heroin and cocaine combined. So Fox News is never gonna make say anything negative about them. That's their bread and butter. That's their sponsors. That's who pays them a lot of money, so that they can keep that fucking train running. Same with CNN. They are not gonna call out banks or oil companies. Who knows who the fuck owns CNN? But they are bought and paid for in all mainstream media. That's essentially what it is. And I get that, but I don't like the term fake news in the sense that, like I said, it's just Trump is just going to use that term to shut anything down that it doesn't like. Anytime anybody says anything negative about him, he's just gonna say fake news is bullshit. Even now, as it is, I think he's saying that because he's got a record what is it approval rating. He's got a very low approval rating. I think it's an all-time record. It's like 40%. And usually, when you become a new president, your approval rating is kind of high. People are excited about this new president. People want to see what it's new blood. They want to see what this new president's gonna do. Clinton and Bush, their approval rating was in the 60s. Trump's in the 40s, or I think it's actually 40%. I'm not exactly sure, but he's saying that it's rigged. That approval rating system is rigged, just like he said about the election when he thought he was going to lose it. It's rigged. That's his go-to thing. Whenever something is not favorable to him and it's not in his favor, he just says it's rigged, and now he's just gonna call anything that is critical of him fake news. And it's problematic. I think it's problematic. I think people need to just look at all the information and absorb, collect as much information as you can, and make up your own mind. And don't be so blind, and don't just call everything fake news, because everything can't possibly be fake news. And I hope we don't go down that road or farther down that road, because it's gonna become a world where we're not gonna be able to trust anything. And by the way, I find it ironic that Donald Trump, a guy who just says whatever he wants, just spews all kinds of lies. He is like, you could say he's the mother of fake news. Always tweeting whatever the fuck he wants without verifying it, whether it's true or not. There's plenty of cases where he just tweeted or said something and said it like it was factual. So talk about fake news. This is a guy who's friends with Alex Jones too. Like, Alex Jones is essentially fake news too. Like, if you think CNN is fake news, I don't fucking come and telling me that somehow Infowars and Alex Jones are credible, reliable sources of information, because that's just moronic in my opinion. I mean, the shit that Alex Jones says and the shit that Donald Trump say, they're both the fucking embodiment of fake news, if you ask me.